Hello there. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can handle the pop-up windows. Pop-up windows is the newly launched windows that is being triggered from the event that clicks any button or whatever event is being triggered when you interact with the browser. For example, you have a link, you click that link and it launches a new window that is called a pop-up window. And when you talk about Selenium, what Selenium considers as the pop-up windows are only the windows that is being triggered with the Selenium code. So when you have automation test, you run, you click the button with the automation test, that is the one considered to be the pop-up window. When Selenium understands the pop-up window, it understands them as the handle. Okay, so it is considered as handles. So there are two things. If there are one pop-up window is there if you have only single window, which is the main window, that is considered to be handle. And if you have more than one window and you have to address them, then you have to call something called get handles. Get handles is nothing but the representation of those similar pop-up windows or every windows. Okay, if you have some test that you ran, now the test broke, the browser remained open, and then you trigger another test. In that time, it will only count the windows of that current session. It does not count the windows that were open previously. Every test that is running is the one considered to be counted. Whatever test previously ran, those are not counted. Okay, just so you know, these are the common facts that you have to really understand when you're trying to write something to handle the windows. Okay, and here I have some brief overview. This is the Selenium helper class where I'm going to put all of my common helper methods. In this video, I'm going to write some of the methods that may help me or you understand how to write handle the pop-up windows. Here, if my framework, this is a page object model I wrote. So here I have a file reader. It reads the Excel file and properties reader. So I have another class that has a browser. Browser launches me the new session for web browser, and also it launches me the base URL from the Excel reader. I have a page class. Page class does just initializing the browser because I have a page factory pattern. All are the find by annotations I'm using. Selenium helper is I'm going to use that later. And I have some test classes here. Each are the page class. Each of this page class contains find by annotations to find the elements. Okay, and then I have some methods that are associated to this class. Every time I have a page class, I'm going to keep the methods associated for that class inside that class, so it will help me understand debugging or fix my codes pretty quick at one special place. If you see any page class that I have, I'm extending that with the my page. My page is the one that is initializing all of my web drivers, and that is helping me to find by annotations. And that my page is forcing to get this constructor because then I want to use the driver from the super. Okay, I hope this is pretty overview. And I have this test files here inside the test data and config properties. It is just nothing but some test data, whatever you want to put in. Same thing as a Excel file. Okay, let's focus with what we're actually intended to do today. So let's talk about web drivers handling. Okay, so there is the get handles is basically let me show you how the handles would look like. Okay, so this is the test I have only one test. It's just a smoke test. So I have a home page. I have a method called navigate to register. That is the only one thing being run. So let me go there. So here, if I need to write something, I'll just write here. So let me write something as soon as it goes there. As soon as the page launches, let me write something. Okay, driver dot get window handle. Okay, I want to show you how the Windows handles are. Okay, let me show you that real quick. For that, I'm going to run the integration test, and let me do that a debugger. So let me put that breakpoint here. Not here, here, debug as JUnit. Okay, it is still launching. It's fine. It is reading that URL data from the Excel file. Okay, so as soon as it launches, it is going to print me out that driver. Okay, and I'm debugging that. So let's go back to my debugging window. Okay, so here I want to show you what this is. You can do that with right click and watch, and come here. Look what it is. This is the handle. Okay, if you want to print that out, let's print it. It will show you here. So that is the handle. Okay, so that handle is basically the unique key. It is very hard for you to remember or know. So that's the main purpose you want to use, and also that is a unique key. Every time it is randomly generated, and then each window that is being launched, when you click in an event and that triggers any new windows to launch, then that is going to be automatically assigned a new ID, new handles ID. Okay, so for that, because it's unique by nature, so how we handle those windows is with the different implementation. Let's work on that now. Okay, let's go back to my helper class. I don't have any exact let's terminate this test now. So I don't have any exact URLs to test, but let's just write this step, and if you run into something that has a pop-up windows that you have to handle, then this will be helpful for you. Okay, so first of all, what you want to do, I want to write a method called switch to main window, because this is the common window. I don't want to write the code again and again, so I'm writing everything inside Selenium helper. Whatever I need in future, I will just write everything common thing inside here. So my handling is switch to main window, because when I trigger something and I found the new URL, I want to make sure I'm back to my original window. That's why I would use this. I don't need to pass anything here because it's just no argument. So it's called driver dot switch to dot default content. Okay, this is going to simply switch to main window. Okay, so that's the main window, and that's all. There's some situations where you might want to get the handles. Okay, so for example, you have some link to click. Before you click, you want to preserve that handle, because this handle you can never remember. So in that case, what you do is you can simply write something called switch. Let me write that to switch back to main window. Okay, so in that case, what you do, string main handle, that's just the variable, driver dot get handle. Okay, get window handle. So this is single string. Then what you do, once you get that, then you maybe there's something that called driver dot find element by dot id something dot click, and this click thing triggers something new window to come up, and you might want to simply go back to your main window. What you do is then driver dot switch to, right, and then maybe and also this clicking may and may not trigger, and you are not sure, then you want to switch back to your main window. What do? You do switch to dot window dot window, then you put main handle, then it is going to switch back to your main window. Okay, so that is like when you click the event and that may trigger something, but you want to go back to your main window. This is why, that's for that purpose you may use this method. And this method is basically you already handled your all pop-ups and you want to go back to your window. Simply you want to go to default content. So let's say sometimes you have multiple windows, multiple pop-up windows, and you want to handle them. So let's write that. This is going to be more interesting. Okay, so let's focus to that. So let me write, so public, and there are these some things that you can switch regardless of handle, because you don't have to remember handles for these cases. So because I'm going to use the set implementation as a collections. Okay, and and because they are unique by nature, those are handled under set implementation, because set does not allow you to enter the null or duplicates, right? So that's why you need set implementation. So now what do? You basically loop the for loop for the set that handles, and then you give your if else condition there. Let's work on that. So, and there are different categories that you can do without remembering the handles. So those are by title, right? Get title or get current URL, or you may be able to I mean, these are the mostly common that you can use. Let's write those as a common method, because those are easier for you to remember and to define. Okay, so let's get that. So public void switch to, let's write this as a static so that I can call this, because it's a common. So I can call that as the class name void to window by title. Okay, so here you have to provide title as a string. Okay, if you provide title, then you can compare. So for that, let's get that. So set string. Okay, it's a string, just like you get that main handle for single one, but this is a collection, so you get, it's a string type handles. That's just a variable equals driver dot window handles. Okay, that's all you do. Then you do for loop here, for string handles. Okay, and what do? If, now put the if conditions before you switch, because you are trying to compare with the title. You cannot get just the title of entire thing. You have to loop over each of these handle. In order to loop each handle, you have to switch with each handles. Okay, so what you do is driver dot switch to dot window handle is this handle. Okay, then dot get, you see the options. You have a get title, get current URL, and you can use the page source. There's a get. So basically this is nothing but the driver dot. So just like you do driver dot get title, you are right now at that point. So let's get the title. So get title is going to return you the title, which is a string format, right? So then let's compare that with our title. Dot equals title. Title is the title that you passed, the one, this title. Okay, so once this means, so once you loop through, what it is saying is you have multiple handles. Okay, multiple handles. Now loop through each one of these handles. When you loop each one of these handles, then switch to each handle of that window and read the title for me. If the title that you read for each of these handles is equal to the title I'm asking, then you switch. So what you do, you copy the whole thing here. That's all you do. Okay, Then if that title is equal to the title that I'm asking, then switch to my title. And then once you switch, I don't want you to do anything else, and then just break that loop. Okay, you don't have to break the loop, it will switch regardless, but still it's best practice so that you don't have to loop again and again, otherwise it will continue to go through every time. Okay, that is the main thing you would write. So since we wrote all the way already this, so let's copy this whole thing. So this whole thing, let's make some of this. Okay, so what you do next is, this is going to be pretty common, so it's a window by URL. Okay, so this is going to be URL. So if this is the URL, then you just say, instead of equals, because URL may be lengthy, just say contains, then do URL. Okay, so if this is containing URL, then that's fine. So here as a parameter, you don't have to type in entire thing http:// whatever thing, right? For example, your URL may contain, okay, /computers. Okay, then all you do is just pass like that. If the URL dot contains like these computers, then switch to this handle. Okay, rest is same. So you just give partial URL, you don't have to give entire thing, just give something that makes more sense. So now it will switch by the URL. Okay, so this is how you would switch with the multiple handles. Then what you can do, sometimes what happens is, sometimes you open some URL and then you want to close them, right? Then write something similar. Sometimes what you want to do is, you have multiple windows, but then you want to close the one that is specific by the title. You want to close the windows handle that by providing the title. Then what you do, it's pretty simple. Instead of switch to, you would say close window by title. Okay, that's the method name I'm going to put. So everything is there fine. So once you do here dot close, that's all you do. Okay, then it is going to close for you. Okay, so that's all you do. It's pretty easy, right? And then what else you want to do, there is something called switch to window. So you can do the same thing here if you want to do that. So just to, instead of switch, just change some method so it's not duplicate. Close window by URL, and you already, this whole thing is same. Once you switch to happens here, the action, because here you are simply reading the title. Okay, dot close, and then break. That's all. Okay, usually when you close this, you don't want to break, because this is the pop-up window anyway. So you want to, if you are closing the pop-up window, you want to switch to the default content. So what do you do here? Switch to dot default content. Or if you want to be just nice as me, then you can simply call the method that you just wrote, switch to main window, right? You just wrote the same thing, switch to main window. For example, you want to put that here, and then that's it. This will just handle it. It will go back to your main window. You will close your pop-up window, and it goes back to your main window. So let's do a quick recap on the handling pop-up windows. Okay, so you can write this many methods. This whole thing you can put that inside your common helper method, helper class. Okay, so that you can use this again and again as needed. Switch to main window, switch to dot default content. Switch to main window, this means something that you preserve your existing window, and then you are about to click something that is going to trigger some pop-up window. Then you don't want to be in that pop-up window, but you want to go back to your window, right? There are many conditions you can use, and sometimes you might have to close that pop-up window. Then just close by the title if you have, close by the URL if you have, right? And then you want to close the title, close it. You want to switch by the title, switch it. Switch by the URL, switch it, right? Switch by the switch and close by the URL, close it. And then once you close, switch back to your main window. Okay, this is all about switching and playing around multiple pop-up windows in Selenium. I hope this video has been very helpful for you understanding how you can write common helper method that would be easier for you to implement and use that across your all project, and make these helper methods as a static because it's easier to call. So any class can simply say Selenium helper dot switch back. Okay, simply directly they can call this method from any classes. Okay, there's nothing really I can show you that running test because I don't have the URL handy, but you can feel free to test these codes and they are pretty good and standard. Okay, thank you, this has been awesome, and then I hope you can use this and practice along, and please continue to watch my video, and thank you for watching my video, and please subscribe my channel. Thank you.